And I think that's what we're missing here. I think they're like, oh, AI will do it for me. Well, AI is not always right. Technology is not always right. I don't even know why we're trying to focus on having human robots and my iPhone still don't work. Hello, beautiful people. Let's discuss book stuff. As promised, this is the Fable debacle. Okay. It is 2025 and I just think I don't know. We just started on an interesting foot this year in the bookish community, okay? If you don't know, Fable is a book tracking app. It kind of gives me the vibe of like book tracking app that reminds me of Spotify, specifically because they have like a wrap up that reminds me of Spotify's yearly wrap up. Okay. And I never had a problem with Spotify's wrap up except for like this past year, because I'm like, some of these top songs don't make sense. And I don't know if AI had his hand in that situation. I don't know. Okay. But regardless of that fact, Fable, I haven't used Fable that much. I got Fable at the end of November of 2024. I mainly used Goodreads and Storygraph all of 2024. So I was going back and forth on, do I need to add like another book tracking app? And to be honest, it looks really cool. Like Fable is like Spotify mixed with social media in a way. It's giving me that type of vibe of how Fable looks. But personally, I got used to Storygraph. Storygraph has made some like cute improvements, especially like with UI and stuff like that. And I think they're very mindful of the end user. So anyways, I'm just going to stick with Storygraph for now, but let's talk about Fable, okay? Fable looks really cool. And I think a lot of people liked Fable. I would say a lot of influencers, I don't know, might be Fable ambassadors of some sort, maybe, you know what I'm saying? So it's not uncommon to know someone that is using Fable. The reason why Fable got in trouble with a lot of people in the bookish community is because of their wrap-up feature, and specifically as it comes with AI concerns. AI in the book community has always been a concern because there's been, discussions and, upset around authors who use AI for their covers. There are concerns when we let AI in the creative spaces. Like, we don't want AI in our creative spaces. We want AI to do some of the mundane things we don't want to do, so we have time for our creativity. We don't want the AI and the algorithms to take over our creativity. I feel like that's all they're doing. It feels like AI is just taking over, and the algorithms are taking over what used to be fun, and it's making it like rigid. I don't know. I don't consider myself a content creator, and my husband's like, babe, but you are. I don't know. I just want to post what I want to post, create what I want to create, and call it a day. And maybe that's not, as ideal if you want to be super lucrative in this business, but I'm just like, what about doing things for the joy of it? I don't know. Anyways, so AI had their hands in the wrap-ups that Fable let out at the beginning of the year. Most people waited until like the very last day of the year to make sure their stats was the most up to date. And some of them were problematic, to say the least. I don't know how many cringy things I need to come across in the past 2 months, but it just keeps happening. One of them was the Soulful Explorer. It reads, your journey dives deep into the heart of Black narratives and transformative tales, leaving mainstream stories gasping for air. Don't forget to surface for the occasional white author, okay? Who are you talking to? And I just wonder, if you only read books from white authors, did you get the opposite of this? Like, did you get something similar to this that wanted to probe you and say, hey, make sure you read some for Black authors? Like, was it the same on the other side of things? I don't know. I haven't came across any screenshots that was like that, but that was also a topic of discussion. Yeah, I kept seeing that one. The next one I saw was the Diversity Devotee. Let's read that one. Your bookshelf is a vibrant kaleidoscope of voices and experiences, making me wonder if you're ever in the mood for a straight cis white man's perspective. I don't know if AI is just inherently racist because the world is, and that's what that's what it gathers this information from. You know what I mean? Like, there's people that think this way. There's people that obviously think this way, and the whole world is not exactly welcoming. So I wonder if that's where AI gets it. But also, as being a company of POCs, people of color, I'm just kind of side-eyeing on like, well, how is this even allowed? How does this make it through review? Was there a review process? Like I don't work with AI like that, okay? Let me tell you this right now. I'm kind of old school. I might ask ChatGPT for a grocery list and meal ideas, because sometimes figuring out what to eat every day for dinner is going to be annoying for me. It is already, and it's going to continue to be. So maybe it can help me out with that. But when it comes to work, I've only dealt with it in a very like small way. But even in that small way, if you're going to use AI, you're going to need reviewers. You're going to need a review process. Like, you can't just let AI have its way. So even though I've only worked with it in a very small, contained manner, it goes through my review and it goes through someone else's review. It goes through 2 reviews before it even reaches the client. And I think that's what we're missing here. I think they're like, oh, AI will do it for me. Well, AI is not always right. Technology is not always right. I don't even know why we're trying to focus on having human robots, and my iPhone still don't work as consistently and as fast as it should be. You know what I'm saying? So just because it's AI and it can do, doesn't mean it can and will do perfectly. I think sometimes people think AI is going to be perfect because, you know, it's this machine, it's smart, it's intelligence, but it's not. Okay, it's not. Okay. So that was really interesting. I think there was another one. I'm going to try to get to that video or post it up here. And it involved this woman who is disabled, and she talked about it, about what her wrap up included and what it looked like. So between this and the Onyx Storm situation, I just got a lot going on. Okay, if I find that video, I would put it in here for you to watch right now. But it's been a lot of discussion around that. And so a lot of people just said, you know what, that's it. I'm not using Fable. Granted, I don't agree with this wrap up. I don't agree. Like, I don't think I've came across like a Spotify wrap up that was insensitive, racist, and just like non-considerate of the end users, the diversity of the end users. I'm not sure why diversity is a bad thing. Why does it seem like diversity is a bad thing? Why do we have to forget that we live in a diverse world and having diverse representation is important? Why is that a bad thing? I don't know. I don't get it. But I did want to include the Fable's response to this outrage. It's a little long. I think this first one is about 5 minutes. The second one is shorter. And just kind of talk about this. So let's take a look.
Hey everyone, my name is Chris. I'm head of product at Fable, and I wanted to touch on a disturbing issue that came up in our community this past week. Our mission statement at Fable is stories for everyone, just bringing the joy and the discussion of stories to everyone and giving everyone kind of a safe space to feel like they belong and can discuss these stories is really important to us. But if we're not doing that for everyone, then like, what are we doing? And this past week we fell short on that. We got a couple reports from users about our reader summary feature on the profile using very bigoted, racist language. And that was shocking to us because it's one of our most beloved features. Like, so many people in our community love this feature. And to know that that feature has generated negative language is, it's a sad situation, I would say. So first of all, I just want to say that we are deeply sorry for the harm that we've caused in the community, for what has been generated, and for putting out a feature that can do something like that. So as part of this, I want to be very transparent with how the reader summary feature works so that you can get a sense of like an understanding of why this might have happened. And then I also then want to talk about some of the changes that we're making starting today. So the reader summary feature, the goal of this feature is to actually celebrate everyone's uniqueness. We wanted it to be a playful, fun way to share out who you are as a reader based on the books that you've been reading. And the way we do that is using an AI model where we feed in the books that you've most recently finished. And all we're passing in is just the summaries of those books. So we're not passing in any of your user data or any like identifiable information or usage data. We're not passing in any data about the actual book, we're not passing in the text of the book, the manuscript. We're really just passing in the publisher summaries that the publishers give us. And that model then is responsible for creating a fun sentence or two about who you are as a reader. And because it's a new technology, we started with some safeguards. We created some safeguards where it's like we ask the model to avoid some topics, and we also created a second pass, like offensive language filter. But clearly in both cases, that failed this time around. So I think as a company, we kind of underestimated how much work needs to be done to make sure that these AI models are doing this in a responsible, safe way. And so I want to talk about the steps that we're taking next. So the first step that we're taking is, first of all, we don't want the fact that this reader summary is AI. We don't want that to be a surprise or deceptive. And so we're adding in a disclosure into that feature to indicate that this is AI generated. The second thing that we're doing is that if you want to, you will also now be able to opt out of that feature. So you will be able to not show a reader summary on your profile. You'll still get all the fun stats that we have on the profile. We'll hide the reader summary. Third thing that we're doing is we've actually already updated our model with even more safeguards, and we've also removed some of the playfulness of the model. We think that some of that playfulness actually could have caused some of the language, and so for now we're just killing that, removing that. So that's the next step. That is actually, I think, already live. The fourth thing that we're doing is we're adding in a thumbs up and thumbs down button. So if you see a reader summary that you don't like, you can hit the thumbs down button. That then sends us a Slack message, and we can then use that to basically train our model better and be aware of instances like this. The last thing that we're doing, which is going to take a little bit more time, I think all of those things are within the next day or two. A little bit more time will be, we are going to continue to work on more safeguards. We're having lots of conversations internally about what other safeguards we might be missing to make sure that this doesn't happen. And so we will be kind of working on that. I think over the next couple of weeks, we're going to have more conversations internally about all of this stuff. If you made it this far in the video, thank you very much for listening. We'd love to hear any feedback, but I think coming from a team of these book lovers and artists and authors and just who we are as a team, this is not what we want, and it shows that we have not done enough. And so we will be working on this. We will be putting attention towards this. I know we've probably shaken some trust in the community, and so we really do hope to earn that back. Thank you all. Feel free to comment below. We're open to all of your input. Appreciate it.
Now, I appreciate that there's accountability here. It seems like, okay, this is kind of like why it happened, what we did, and what our, line of thinking and next steps to be. I don't think a lot of companies do that. Amazon, I wish more companies would take the time to explain what was going on. And a lot of people made the, fair judgment and the fair call of saying AI in the book space in general is not making it safe. AI in general is not making any space a safe space. And a lot of people are like, if there's any AI, I'm not dealing with it at all. So some people said, you know what, forget Fable, I'm going to Storygraph. And I love Storygraph down. But to also be clear, there is AI present in Storygraph. I think specifically the one time I saw AI is like when it comes to like the book summaries, but it's very transparent out the gate that this is AI transcribed. It also has, it's optional. You don't have to read the AI transcribed summary. You can actually read the actual synopsis provided to you. You don't have to just only use AI. And I appreciate Storygraph's transparency with that. I also hope they are taking a look at what's going on with Fable and kind of learn from their lessons too. But Fable also had a follow-up to this, and I think they're just scrapping anything that had AI touching it, they're scrapping it and having a town hall. So yeah, a lot of people are saying screw Fable, I don't want to deal with Goodreads, what app do I use? I still enjoy Storygraph. I like the transparency of the AI stuff. They have done some recent updates. You can actually DNF a book, which you could not do on Goodreads. You can pause a book reading, which is great, especially for mood readers. And I feel like they're very intentional with their features and thinking of the end user. I feel like they're a small but mighty team. So, and again, I don't hate Fable. I don't. I think this AI wrap up is weird as hell, it's cringy as hell, and I don't appreciate it. But I don't hate Fable. I feel like they're taking accountability for it. I feel like they're trying to have, like next steps of what they can do to like rectify the situation. And, again, everyone has a right to say, no, forget it. I don't want to deal with y'all because y'all didn't get it right the first time. And I think it's okay not to get it right the first time, but like, let's not pretend like it didn't happen. Let's figure out a plan. And I think that's what they try to do. And they end up scrapping anything that had AI touching it for the time being. And they seem to be receptive to people's recommendations and having a town hall and things like that. So, I'm not really mad at Fable. I don't know why this wrap up had to be this way. That's what I don't understand. But I know AI technology is not perfect. You cannot let AI or technologies run free. Like, that's just not happening. Okay. You have to check it as a flawed human being. You still have to check it. So I don't know. It's kind of weird out there. But anyways, I really enjoy Storygraph. That's what I'm going to be using 2025 like exclusively mainly. I think I probably would still rate things on my Goodreads, but as far as like in-depth reviews and using it on the daily, I think it would be Storygraph. I really enjoy Storygraph. And it's Black female founded and owned, I believe, a Black engineer. And I think over the last few months, they have gotten a lot more popular. So like, I think we have like overloaded their servers or whatever. I never noticed any issues on my end, but I really appreciate the intentionality, the transparency, and the iterations that they're making to the platform seems to be, end user focused. And I really appreciate that too. And I hope they just continue thriving. I really enjoyed using Storygraph for the past year, and I'm planning on continuing using them. So if you're wondering what app to use that. But yeah, so until next time, y'all, peace.